So a pretty gloomy day here in Perth, and a perfect time for me to put this on my bike before I go for a long ride. It's the See.Sense icon. The team from See.Sense contacted me a few weeks back and said, Shane, can we send you a light for review and to have a look at? Typically I'm sort of on the fence about, what sort of new tech is it all about? Is it worth covering? Has it been covered before? What angle can I put on it? But this has some smarts built in, Bluetooth, it has a few extra features, and my wife Veronica, at the time they contacted me, the email came through, Veron was riding home at night, and she does commute to and from work at night, so I thought, yeah, actually that's going to help the safety of my wife. I'm keen to check out the tech, so here it is. They sent me one over and we'll have a look at it. Definitely a premium bike light. We'll talk about the price later on, but it's not too bad at all. So in the package came a little personal note, so thank you team for that. Hope you like the icon. If you have any questions, please let us know. Happy cycling, Team See.Sense. Thank you, Team See.Sense. As you'd expect, it comes with a charge cable, USB, micro USB, little tiny one, not a USB-C, but it's micro USB. It comes with two little strap ladders, I call them, to if one breaks, you can put another one on, or I guess you could double strap. The backing on the light itself is for a round seat post, but I found it fits okay on the giant TCR, which has an aero seat post. So once it was charged up, I was blinded by it. It is really, really bright. As a car driver, if I'm ever behind a cyclist with a blaring, those lights that just blind you, there's two things with lights. To be seen or to see. From behind it's to be seen, it's not to be seen. You don't need to see. So these are blisteringly bright. It acts as a normal bike light, so if you hold it on, you're not going to get too much of a good visual today because we're outside in the sun, but you can see it's got a few different modes. You can just turn it on. And that, would you believe, is the lowest setting it can go on. And that can be seen for quite some way. But you've got flashlights and things like that. So my concern was this thing was way too bright. I turned it on and looked into it, and then you sort of startled yourself. A lot of the time people do say, the brighter the better, because if they see you, they're not going to hit you. I disagree with that. If you are blinding people behind you, they can't judge distance between you. And in tight spaces, especially on the road, if you're even a metre or so away and you're blinded somebody, they turn their gaze and look somewhere else. And if they've got those little white dots that you can't, that's not good. Anyhow, this is able to be turned down to about 10%, which I've found quite fine. What else is in the package? The user manual and a little card to download the app. So once you download the app on the phone, it's kind of cool. Let me open the app here. And from the app itself, you can actually turn it on. And as I said before, you can actually change the intensity. So let me see if I can get this lined up here, and I can, that's 100%, so at night that's quite bright. And we can dull that right down to about 10%. So there's intensity levels you can set, and different settings as well. So you've got different flash, well I've just turned that off. Flash mode at 10%, flash mode at 50%. Solid off. You can scroll through a few things there. Now in the app, there's a few cool little features. Oh, hang on. Off, there we go. That really is quite bright. So yes, I will bang on more about the brightness. Did I say it was bright? It really is bright. So I wouldn't be mounting it upwards, facing it into cars. I'd be sort of mounting it more down. So you don't need to see with this thing because you're not riding backwards. You just want to be seen. And this thing does have a wide range of, I think, 270 degrees of view. It lights up quite a lot, just sort of pointing downwards.
I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
I've reduced it down to 10%, and at night, that's just fine. So the battery life in this is about 15 hours on flash mode. I suspect probably half of that on solid mode, and even down to 10%. Probably still a bit of life out of it. In the app itself, there's a battery indicator, so you can check how much battery is left. I've been playing around with this for about an hour in different modes. It's still got 100% battery. Happy days with that. Now, along with the Bluetooth smarts built into this, there's some accelerometers, so it can do a few funky little things. So my bike never leaves my sight, even at a cafe. 7 kilos, someone can just up and leave straight away, and it's just too easy to walk away with a bike. So it's always in visual sight. If you're one of those people who leaves your bike out the front of the cafe, or you're within about 30 meters or so, here's a cool little feature. I've got this in anti-theft mode. So if someone goes to steal the light or your bike or moves anything, that's really annoying, but it gets your attention. So it has anti-theft mode, and that you have to turn off as well. Let me go and turn that off. So the theft mode works really well. This also has crash mode. Not a fan of crash mode myself. There's too many false positives in the early beta products I've been using in the past, and typically if my phone is still okay after a crash, I'll be able to reach for it and call someone, or even worse, I can just call someone nearby with a few yells explaining that I'm dying and I would require assistance to survive. So crash mode on this, it's fun, it's good, it's easy to do because it's in software and it's using accelerometers on this little thing, so that's all right. So weight-wise, you're looking at about 70 grams, so you won't even notice it on the back of the bike. And if you're weight weaning and flying up a hill, you're not going to be running lights anyway. For just getting around and commuting, the battery life of 15 hours with flash, that's not too bad at all. So all the smarts aside built into this, I think the coolest feature for me is the auto on and off. It uses the accelerometers to turn itself off when it's been still for 3 minutes. And if you start moving again, it'll turn itself back on. That's kind of cool. I don't know how many times I've gotten home from a ride and forgotten to turn the rear light off, or I go to the cafe, put the bike there, and I'm still within eyesight, forget to turn the rear light off, it'll turn itself off and save battery. Rather than bore you with the full tech specs of this unit, there's other sensors and things in here and other features. I'll link below to those, but they're the main ones today. It's super bright, it's kind of smart, it acts as a standard light so you can just press the button to make it easy, and the auto on-off function is pretty cool, but definitely premium price of looking at about $80 to $100 US for the standard one. There's also the Icon Plus, which is even brighter than bright, and in Australia I think they're between $160 and $180. Quite a premium level product, but that auto on and off, I think that's quite cool. So in summary, great little unit with a few extra features such as theft detection, and it can also be switched back to just a standard bike light mode. Well, press the button, turn it on. You don't have to pull out the app every single time you want to do anything with the light itself. So on and off like a normal light with some extra features packed in. Price-wise, it's a pretty hefty price tag for the premium experience of a rear bike light. They've also got a front bike light as well. I'd like to see some integration with head units. The Garmin's I know connect to their Garmin lights now, so I'd like to see that connect with an element bolt or an open standard of some type, so they could do funky things. Coming up to, I guess, intersections, they could have it go brighter. There are some accelerometers and things built into here that does that, but I'm not going to go into that today. I'll link below to all those features. So thanks again for Team See.Sense for sending me over one of these to have a look at, just to see where the tech is at this point in time. It'll be going on Veronica's bike to and from work, and I'll get some feedback from her in the next week or so to see how it's gone in the Melbourne winter. All right, thanks for watching. It's time for some more river loops here in Perth. I'll see you soon.